So this is the media production test, and I'm going to be playing this running movie montage so you don't get bored sitting there looking at nothing, hearing me talk. So first things first, explain the process of pre-production. Pre-production is one of the 3 stages of producing film, music, and/or other modes of media that make working with others very structured and detail-oriented, and it's a way of keeping everyone on schedule and organized. I think of it as a thinking, gathering of ideas, sketching out what you have in your mind phase. It consists of 9 different parts. First off, we have the most prominent factor, which would be the project proposal. Duh! Like, what is your project going to be about? It is a summary used to promote or sell your project. Next, we have the premise, which is a concise statement that basically sums up the story or subject matter. This is where you state the purpose of your project and sort of describe what the audience is supposed to get out of the whole piece, and also what they should be thinking or feeling. The synopsis is a short paragraph that describes your storyline. It is used in order to walk the audience through the story. Treatments is the next part of pre-production, which gets into a more detailed synopsis. So we get a deeper understanding of who the characters are, a summary of the plot, and each particular scene. We also get an insight of how the material will be captured. Scripts are the complete production guides on paper, specifying what will be seen and heard. The script breakdown does exactly what it says. It breaks down to include listing equipment and personnel needs for each scene. So which scenes need, certain lighting, backdrops, actors, props, etc. The script breakdown really focuses intensively on how the whole thing should and will play out. Production schedule is an important part of this process, given that it provides a certain timeline for each phase of production. It keeps the whole cast and crew working on a smoothly timed manner and gives a good sense of which each part should be completed. A storyboard is a graphic visualization of all the important shots that will be captured. It gives you and also others a sense of what the scene should really turn out to be. Finally, we have the idea of a budget for pre-production, so how the funds will be spent in each production. Question 2. What are the most important steps in the process, and define them? Well, I think, quite frankly, that all these steps are necessary and important for pre-production, but the few that I think are most important are the project proposal, synopsis, treatments, script breakdowns, and production schedule are the most prominent. First of all, it's obvious that you need to tell a short summary of what your project piece is all about. That's how it all begins. The synopsis walks the audience through the story, which can make or break your proposal. It is a way that can show if the audience will actually be interested in the idea before you go any further. Treatments allow for us to see what materials we are going to need for each shot, and we get to see who and what the characters are all about. The script breakdowns are a way for us to understand what is needed for each take, and the production schedule keeps everyone in line. 3. Why is pre-production needed? It is needed because if you don't have a concise plan for producing a piece, then it can turn out to be a complete disaster and disappointment. Not attaining any pre-production steps is almost like writing an English paper without having your points laid out with information backing up your statements. It does not flow properly. Having a plan can really save you a lot of stress and time. You have to shake that John Wayne, I can do anything attitude. It won't get you anywhere. You have to sit down, take some time, and make a plan for yourself. For instance, if you do not follow through the treatments portion of the pre-production phase and don't make a list of all of the equipment you need, things can definitely get complicated. If you don't make this list, you will pack up all the main things you will think you need, yet once you get to location, you will realize that you forgot maybe a backup battery, a backup camera, or even a specific light. You absolutely have to pay attention to the small details in order to make your piece a success. Also, once you have gotten a solid pre-production plan, then things will fall into place more simply than just winging it. Question number 4. How does pre-production relate to the other stages of production? Well, all 3 of the stages sort of all go together because they all work together in making a piece of production. Pre-production sets up the process of production and post-production. It allows these to go more smoothly and in a timely manner. Pre-production is sort of the brains behind the action and putting it all together. You must have a solid plan before you go into the other stages. Number 5. Explain the process of post-production and define the steps. So post-production is a final process in making this piece of work come to life. There's so much that goes into the editing phase, from cutting out certain clips, adding titles, adding special effects, different saturation colors. It is definitely a tedious process, to say the least. This is where all of the footage comes together and it is edited into a logical sequence. First things first, you have to pick a program that you would like to use to edit the footage and you feel comfortable with. Once all of your footage is in the system, you're able to cut certain scenes out that may not fit well and also add special effects. Sound is also an important aspect because sound definitely evokes emotion out of the audience. A famous example of this is from Jaws and the importance of John Williams' music. Without his musical piece, the scene would have been uninteresting and provoking. Number 6, explain the 2 types of analytical montages. Give examples. Alright, so analytical montages, there's 2 different types, the sequential analytical and sectional analytical. A sequential montage tells a story in a shorthand fashion. It moves the event through time. So I have this little clip here of a sequential montage. This is a prime example of a sequential analytical montage, given that it tells the story of Play-Doh working together to make a plant or an end product, as you will see. The story was short and simple, yet we know what event and we know exactly what was going on. Alright, a sectional analytical montage temporarily stops the progression of an event and examines an isolated movement from different viewpoints. It is something that has happened in a minute that is carried out. So I have a clip here from Armageddon that carries out a few minutes of the launch.
We're T-minus 20 seconds.
This example from Armageddon really intensifies the feelings that everyone is having, from the flight deck workers to the astronauts and the loved ones of the astronauts. It's intense. Get your feelings going. Now I bet you want to go and watch Armageddon, like me. Alright, last question. Explain the 2 types of idea associative montage and give examples. So the idea associative montage are 2 seemingly disassociated events that create a third principal idea or concept. We have comparison montage and collision montage. The comparison montage consists of succeeding shots that juxtapose 2 thematically related events to express or reinforce a theme or basic idea. It compares similar themes from dissimilar events. This video here shows how Toy Story, the events that happen in Toy Story are almost like the events that happen in Walking Dead.
You don't know what it's like out there. You may think you do, but you don't. It's a dangerous world out there. No toy. It's only a matter of time.
This idea that Toy Story is almost like The Walking Dead is definitely mind-blowing. In here we see the same idea being portrayed in a different light. Alright, and lastly we have a collision montage, which is when you clash two different events to express or reinforce a basic idea or feeling. You combine different images to generate a new idea. So here in this video we have two different ideas that generate a new idea. So here we have this video showing the act of being a holy man and being a disgrace to humankind. We have the disgrace man there, and then we cut to the holy man who's trying to portray a different idea. These two different ideas that clash together, it makes the viewer aware of the insensitivity of mankind. Alright, and that concludes the test.